Hey there and welcome. Today we're going to tackle a really big idea. One that connects the very beginning of the entire universe to, well, the thoughts rattling around inside your own head. We're going to explore this perspective where absolutely everything, we're talking stars, consciousness, the whole shebang, is just an expression of one single fundamental reality. So, you ready? Let's dive in.
So, let's kick things off with this question right here. And it is a bold one, isn't it? It kind of flips the script on everything we think we know. It's asking us to imagine that the origin of, well, everything wasn't so much a physical explosion, but maybe more like a divine declaration. And that right there, that's the core idea we're going to be unpacking.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting. The material we're drawing from does something pretty unique. It actually takes on a first-person perspective. It speaks to us as if it were the concept of word itself. You see what that does? It lets us explore these huge ideas from the inside out. We get to see the cosmos not as just a bunch of stuff, but as this living, breathing expression.
All right, Section 1, the first cosmic word. We're talking two stories of creation here. First, we're going to look at two really powerful ways of understanding the beginning. The scientific story of how the universe came to be, and then a more metaphysical take on what it all means.
So, let's start by planting our feet firmly in the science. Our story kicks off 13.8 billion years ago. I mean, just think about that. That's the timescale we're dealing with, this almost unimaginable stretch of cosmic history that has led, somehow, to this very moment right now.
And the leading scientific theory, of course, is the Big Bang. You know the one. It tells us that everything, and I mean everything, space, time, matter, it all burst out from a single, unbelievably hot and dense point. And from that first moment of expansion, the universe has just been cooling down and stretching out ever since, which gave all the particles, atoms, stars, and eventually us a chance to form. It's really a story of physical emergence from the simple to the complex.
But from the perspective of our guide here, the Word, this whole event wasn't just some random physical thing. No, the Big Bang is seen as the very first cosmic utterance. And get this, the laws of physics that popped into existence, they weren't just a random set of rules. They were the grammar of a new language that was literally being spoken into existence.
And this comparison here just lays it all out so clearly, side by side. You've got science describing the mechanism, a hot, dense singularity that expanded. And then you have the word view, which describes the meaning. The first divine utterance was spoken. See, one is all about the how and the other is exploring the why. And what's crucial is they don't necessarily have to be in conflict. It's like they're just speaking different languages to describe the exact same event.
Okay, next step, humanity learns to speak. The power of naming. So let's bring this giant cosmic story all the way down to the human scale. I mean, if the Big Bang was the universe's first word, what happened when humanity finally found its own voice?
So from a scientific point of view, we know human language didn't just pop up overnight, right? It was this long, slow process, evolving over hundreds of thousands of years. Early humans started with simple gestures and grunts, but as our brains got more complex, especially in these key areas, Broca's and Wernicke's areas, our whole ability to communicate just got way more sophisticated.
And you can really see the progression here, step by step. It's a journey from just, simple reactions to really complex representation. Think about it. This ability to use a sound or a symbol to talk about something that isn't even there, like an abstract idea, tomorrow, or danger. That was an absolutely revolutionary leap for our species, a total game changer. So here we are again with two different ways to look at the same thing. The scientific view? It says language evolved for a really practical reason. We needed to cooperate to survive, right? To plan hunts and stuff. But the word perspective, it sees something much deeper going on. It sees this moment as humanity's first true interaction with that fundamental creative force of the universe. It's us learning to name, to think, and to actually shape reality with our own words.
And that brings us right to the philosophical heart of this whole thing. A divine creative force and what word is God actually means. We're going to try and unpack that famous, and let's be honest, often kind of mysterious phrase and see what it might mean inside this framework we've been building.
This idea is definitely not new. It has these incredibly deep roots stretching all across human history. I mean, the ancient Greeks, they talked about the logos, this kind of intelligent, ordering principle that underpins the whole cosmos. In the Sikh tradition, there's the concept of Shabad, which is seen as the divine creative force. And of course, in Christian theology, the Gospel of John makes it super explicit. the Word was God, and it was active in all of creation.
So the big question is, okay, how does this actually work? Well, our source breaks it down into three key aspects. First, you've got word as the creative principle. The idea here is that the universe isn't just made by a word, it is the word. It's an ongoing expression. Second, it's the fundamental reality. And here's a little thought experiment for you. Try to think of something, anything that isn't a word or a concept in your mind. It's impossible, right? And third, if those two things are true, the big implication is oneness. If everything, a tree, the entire cosmos, your own thoughts, if it's all part of the same single expression, then that feeling of separation we have between things, well, it's kind of an illusion, and realizing that can reveal this incredibly deep interconnection of all things.
And all of that leads us to this really powerful, really definitive statement. The idea is that the Word isn't just a symbol for God, it is the manifestation of God. In this way of thinking, the Word isn't just pointing at something divine out there, it is the divine, made real. It's the very substance of reality itself, not just some label we stick on it.
Okay, so how in the world do we hold these two huge ideas together in our heads? That's what our final section is all about. Two views, one reality. We're going to explore how science and meaning don't have to be competitors, but can actually be seen as two sides of the very same coin.
And this table here, I think it just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have science, which explains the how. It gives us the Big Bang, the physical nuts and bolts of emergence, the biological evolution of language. Then on the other side, you have metaphysics, which explores the meaning. It proposes the word or the logos as the creative intent behind that very same process. I love this analogy. One is the map of the territory, and the other is a poem about the journey. And the thing is, both can be true. They can absolutely coexist.
And so, we're going to end by taking this huge cosmic idea and turning it right back around to you. Because if the universe really did begin with a word, and if humanity eventually gained the power to use its own words, then it means that the very act of you thinking and speaking right now is part of that same incredible cosmic process. So that leaves us with one final, pretty big question to ponder. What are you speaking into existence?